The following video contains language that may be inappropriate for young viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to Behind the Bars, where we bring the unseen and the unheard stories from the depths of the prison system to the forefront. I'm your host, Jason Boss, and together we'll explore the madness, the chaos, and the harsh realities hidden behind the steel doors of prisons worldwide. From the local jailhouse to death row across the world, we'll show you the isolation, the seclusion, and the decades spent enduring unimaginable conditions. These are the stories of survival, struggle, and humanity in places most of us will never see. We're here to shine a light on what society often forgets, the voices of the incarcerated. Each story is real, each voice is authentic, and every moment reveals the raw, unfiltered truth of life behind the bars. Join me for a journey like no other, a journey into the darkness, the truth, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Behind the Bars, real life, real stories. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, thank you so much for hanging out with Behind the Bars. This presentation is with a very good friend of mine, a brother of mine. His name is Charles Victor Thompson. This brother has done 27 plus years right now in solitary confinement, and I have the honor, I have the privilege, I have basically the greatest moments of my time being able to talk to my friend and being able to put this all out on the line. And thank you guys for joining us. Charles Victor Thompson, how are you doing, my brother?
I'm breathing, I'm achieving. Snoop Dogg reference there.
Amazing. And for those who have not heard any of our other presentations, guys, there is a lot. You guys can click on the links at the top. Guys, please check out the presentations that we have with our brother here. In the description below, guys, is two ways that you guys can get a hold of Charles Victor Thompson. He would love to absolutely hear from all of you. The old way is the snail mail way, which does not work very good. Nobody likes the snail mail way. There's also a new way that has been updated in the description that you guys can log on with Securus Tech. All of it, all the details are in the description below, and you guys can just pop an email out, and you guys can visit with one, and a very charming guy, a guy that's just a happy-go-lucky guy for the situation that he is in, and I really appreciate it. Charles Victor Thompson, how are you doing today?
Doing good.
Good. Now,
it's springtime. It's a time of renewal, time for reflection,
and you are just about coming up on Passover inside of the prison system, which is a very big deal for you because it's the only time of year that you actually can see anything other than basically the roadkill that comes in through the TDCJ's food chamber. And so for those of you guys out there that can help Charles Victor Thompson, there's a lot of ways you guys can do it. So you can get a hold of me. You can also email him. He has ways to get a hold of him and various things. And you can help guys like this out very easily. Now, brother, the last thing that you and I talked about was the dramatic moments that you were into. You basically were first entered into prison, and you almost immediately, I believe, went into segregation. And from that time, it's been about 27 years of living alone, living with nobody around there, not having anybody around. How is that from a mental standpoint, living isolated and living alone from a day-to-day perspective? How do you deal with this?
I try to stay busy. I mean, I don't mind. If you let yourself just sit and do nothing, it's easy to get in the funk. Stay busy. I think that's the key. Growing up as a kid, I was always one that would play by myself. I could entertain myself, so I guess it comes naturally.
Now,
staying busy is key, man.
Now, what do you do, and what have you done, and what have you experienced in 27 years that have kept you busy? Where did you begin with any kind of like arts and crafts or any kind of stuff that you didn't know, and where are you at today?
I think the first year I painted was 2000 when they moved us over here to solitary, complete isolation. the Ellis unit, we were single man in a cell, but we had 4 hours of group break a day. That only lasted like 10 months. Came over here March 2nd, 2000, 25 years ago, and I spent a lot of time in that window. Like, I would get up there every day during sundown, watch the sunset, because the backfield of the farm, the sun was setting across the trees, and I would spend a lot of time up there my first year or so, looking out the window, just thinking about past. And I've always been one to take in a good sunset at the beach, the mountains, wherever. And so I got the idea one day. I think I should try and paint this. So using a child's kindergarten watercolor set, that's how we were sold for 23 years. I learned how to paint sunsets with it and do a pretty good job, pretty realistic. The landscape part, the rest of it's pretty hard, working with kids' watercolors. Watercolor turns out is a pretty tough medium. So I started there, and I started writing poetry a little bit here and there. I would write blogs. I started blogging in like 2002, 2003, and wrote 2 books. One of them is a kid's book. It's called Fargo the Dog. It's published in France. It's on cobobooks.france, amazon.france. Cannot pronounce the name in French. Le Pen Le Herb or something like that. I'm sure anybody who's computer literate can find it. But it's a story about a dog who winds up on doggy death row, and it's kind of a parable of my situation. Wow. Kind of a crafty little story.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, and you think that was 2003 you wrote that?
Yeah, 2003, 2004. It's published in French.
Do you make anything from that? If somebody goes and buys that book, do you make anything?
Yeah, it goes to my nonprofit French Fundraising Association, which is pretty much defunct. It's very inactive right now. So
that's kind of a no, right?
Yeah, I mean, I might push it once every 6 months. I might tell somebody to go buy the book in France. I don't even know if they're collecting any money for it still, honestly. The president of my association's had a lot of health problems. Secretary, too. The treasurer got cancer. She fell out a couple years ago. I'm trying to get them revived and get going again. Yeah, it's hard, man.
All right, so
they're all aging.
Yeah, well, it's time waits for
their 70s.
Yeah, time waits for no man. So 2000, you were painting, then you were into poetry, then you were blogging in 2002. 2003, you released a dog. What else have you done in your time?
After my self-paroled vacation, I wrote a book about my life story, my case, my escape and capture. And that, I'm not seeing any more proceeds from that either. We've parted ways since earlier last year, going into probably March, April this time last year, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to not really push the book anymore.
Okay, so let's get into that. Where we landed last in our interviews. You had been put into SAG at that point, and this was I don't exactly have the date. I don't know what the date is, but you had just first made it to prison, and they took you immediately to SAG. So take me up through that first little bit, because the thing I don't know about is the escape, and I do know it's history. I do know it's out there. In fact, for those who actually watched this, one of the beginning intros that I had for your particular video had the escape in there, but I've never talked about that because I don't know.
Yeah.
Where
happened? That happened the end of 2005.
Okay, so 2000
after my resentencing.
So
resentencing, retrial, and then an escape.
Okay, so 2005. So when were you first put into SAG, segregation? What year was that?
Harris County Jail, 1998.
So 1998. Okay, so from 1998, and then you had a new trial?
Yeah, I went to death row on May 5th, 1999, and spent a year at the old unit where we were single man to a cell.
Mm-hmm.
And then they moved all of death row over here March 2nd, 2000. And I fought hard, tooth and nail, worked on my appeals, argued with the lawyers, had my brother go down to the lawyer's office, try to make him see it my way. And I was studying the law. And I found some existing Supreme Court case law, like Blockberger versus the United States. It's a case that had been holding for 50 years. And I watched a guy get a reversal under it right here in Texas death row. And the lawyer didn't want to argue mine the same way. And I was like, why not? He had his ideas, and I had a pretty clear understanding of the law after several years of studying it. And I finally got him to agree to argue it my way, and they reversed the sentence, but not this. They reversed the sentence, but not the guilt innocence.
Mm.
Texas is a bifurcated system. You have guilt innocence phase. You're found guilty, then you go to sentencing phase, and it's life or death if you're found guilty of capital murder. So I got a sentencing reversal on October 24, 2001. And I sat here fighting it on appeal of the appeal. You win some action on appeal, and they get to appeal that all the way up to the Supreme Court. I sat here until 2005, summer of 2005, and I finally was taken back to Harris County for the sentencing retrial. I fought for full retrial, filed rehearings, further rehearing. I had a rehearing granted, pro se on my own. I had lawyers writing me, telling me, send me a copy of what you did. I know attorneys have been in the game 20 years and never had a rehearing granted on a death penalty case. Of course, my lawyer was pulling his hair out because I no longer had a punishment reversal. I now have my case resubmitted for reconsideration on rehearing. And he was livid. He was like, he's asking me, are you crazy? I was like, no. They gave me a half solution to a whole problem, and I'm willing to put all the chips on number 7 and spin the wheel again. So I did. And ultimately, the lawyer wouldn't do anything else to help me but file a response in the Supreme Court, what he was required to do. And I filed a pro se cross petition in the Supreme Court arguing for a full reversal. I created so much work for the district attorney's office with the rehearing being granted and then withdrawn as improperly granted, motion for further rehearing as a stall tactic while I got to work on my Supreme Court writ. And then when they filed the writ to take away my sentencing reversal, which was reinstated, I filed a cross petition arguing for a full reversal, so they had to do another brief. So by the time I go down there in 2005, after sitting here from July 2003 with no death sentence until May of 2005, they finally take me back for retrial. First of all, they give me the same lawyer again who botched my first trial, which was totally unacceptable.
Public defender?
I still have issues. Yeah. Court appointed. I still had issues pending on him in my second appeal that was filed but didn't go through. They run the first and second appeal at the same time. So I couldn't accept him. I would nullify my issues. I had to go down there and fight to get him off the trial, and I finally succeeded after 2 customized motions and then a writ of mandamus going over the judge's head. The administrative judge in Houston finally removed him and gave me what I wanted, made us co-counsel, lead counsel, and gave me a brand new co-counsel. 2 weeks before jury selection, 2005, September, Hurricane Rita's like 3 days out, bearing down on Houston. Everybody's got to evacuate, and we're losing time. We're not ready. We're not even ready to pick a jury. whole thing was just a complete shambles, man. Everything just took a turn for the worse from there forward. So the judge wouldn't give us an extension. I basically had one lawyer picking a jury in a death penalty case, and the law says you're supposed to have two effectively prepared attorneys. So that was the first strike against me going in, and we got sandbagged. As the trial was about to start, we filed an emergency motion for continuance, and the judge chastised my lawyer in front of the victim's family and everything, told him don't do that again, and then he turned around and asked to withdraw from the case, just to spite the judge. The judge told him one more stunt like that, and I'll hold you in contempt of court, throw you in jail. Dang, man.
Wow.
So it gets better. Same judge was on my retrial as a visiting judge. He arrested my dad during my retrial for being late to court.
What?
Because he was testifying. Yeah, he was testifying on like day 3, day 4, and 5 o'clock rolled around. And the judge said, "We're going to go ahead and stop here for the day. And Mr. Thompson, we're going to resume with you on the stand in the morning. Don't be late." He was 2 hours late. So when he came walking in, he questioned him right away. "You're still under oath. Well, didn't I tell you to be here early?" "Yes, sir." What's your reason?" "I was stuck on the Pierce elevated freeway in a wreck. I couldn't get off the freeway." And he told him, "Go ahead to bring the jury in, put him up," and told him to take the stand. As soon as he was done testifying and the prosecution was done with him, and we cross-examined with a couple of questions, and they sent the jury out for early lunch, and he said, "Mr. Thompson, come stand before my bench." I stood up, thinking he was talking to me, and he told me, "You sit down. Senior Mr. Thompson, come out of the witness box, come around and stand before my bench." And my lawyer muttered under his breath, "Uh-oh." He asked my dad a couple more questions, and it wasn't good enough for him. He told him, "So I'll find you in contempt of court." He said, "Bailiff, take him into custody and stick him in a holdover cell, and we can take him to booking at 5 o'clock when the trial's over today." Yeah, I was shocked. I was total disbelief.
Did he get charges?
So they put me back. No, he sat in that holdover all day, and I didn't get the top on until 5 o'clock when they were about to take me to the elevator, and they're going to put me on the elevator, take me down, and send me in the tunnel back to the jail. So when they say, "Okay, we're through, you can go ahead and send him back," I was like, "Excuse me, Your Honor, there's still the matter of my father sitting back there." And he said, "Young man, I've done told you, don't address me directly. You address me through counsel." And I kicked my lawyer's chair because I'd already told him, if you don't do something, you tell the judge that I'm fixing to have abolitionists protesting outside courthouse with picket signs and everything else that I can muster up tonight on the telephone. And they would have rolled out the troops. There was a couple of people there that I'd already seen what went on, right? So my attorney asked the judge if we could talk to him in chambers and it only took about 2 or 3 minutes. They came back and said, he told the court reporter to wait. He said, "Go ahead and start the record real quick." He said, "For further consideration, I think Mr. Thompson's had enough time to think about being late to my court today while he's been sitting in the holdover every day. Bailiff, go ahead and cut him loose."
Wow.
They cut him loose.
That's crazy.
I told Bailiff, "Hey, let me tell him. We walked back around the corner behind the courtroom where the holdover cells are, and there's Pops. He's sitting there like Johnny Bench."
Wow.
He looked sad, man. He was sitting down staring at his shoes. I know what was going through his mind, man. I'm fixing to go to Harris County Jail, one of the worst jails in America. So I walked up and knocked on the door and said, "Hey, Pop." He looked up at me and smiled. And I'm telling the bailiff, come on, man, just give me 30 seconds. He's like, "Man, I could lose my job for this." He rolled the door. Said, "You got 10 seconds, son." I ran in there and gave him a big hug. I started crying like a baby.
Sweet.
I told him, "Dad, the judge is letting you go." And he's like, "Really, son?" I was like, "Yeah." So the bailiff shook his head. Yeah, he's looking at him. He said, "Yeah, I got your keys and your wallet and your cell phone and everything right up here. As soon as I put him on the elevator, I'm gonna give you your stuff. Your wife's waiting for you out there. It's like, all right. I said, I'll see you tomorrow in trial, Dad. And they told me to make sure you say your prayers tonight, son. I was like, yeah, I've been praying for you all day that they let you go. Mom was devastated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could have gave him a heart attack, man.
Yeah.
That's unconscionable.
It's power. Lots of power in that, right? Like power-hungry people.
Yeah.
All right, so
we're forced to come to trial unprepared. We haven't done the mitigations. They haven't interviewed the chaplain on death row. They want to put on the chaplain on the stand or mitigating reasons to not give me the death penalty. We were going to use basically what they call the Terry Nichols defense, jailhouse religious reformation. You know, I changed my life. I turned my life around. I cleaned up my act. Started following the Lord. So, and they hadn't interviewed my mom. They didn't know if they wanted to put her on the stand or not. We were ill prepared, and the trial just kept getting worse and worse as we went. Of course, I got another death sentence. You know, when I asked for continuance, and the judge's reasoning was, Mr. Thompson did this. It's something for Mr. Thompson's appeal. Mr. Thompson can live with it. And he's basically going to put me through the system again, waste taxpayers' money, and let me fall through the cracks of the system, I guess. It remains to be seen.
Yeah, all right. So we got just a couple minutes before this one goes. And what I want to do is I want to remind everybody that is out there that the justice system isn't exactly a fair system, because I talk about this a lot, because I know guys who are in the general population not on death row that have killed like 8 people. Like, these people have killed a tremendous amount of people, but you have guys like Charles Victor Thompson who, when you hear his story of the actual assault, it was more of it wasn't even an insult per se. It was more of a opportunity based upon circumstances that were there, and it was all a mistake. The entire thing that went down, and guys, go back to our presentation, I think about 3 or 4 prior to this, and we hear a lot about this, but it's definitely not the same league of justice. If you're looking at, is everybody being judged equally, it is definitely not there, and I will tell you that is not fair in the same case as Charles Victor Thompson. Okay, so 2005, you get this trial. It's going south, according to your words. It's not going as you want to go. They find you guilty yet again, and you are, what jail are you in right now? Or you're back in jail, right?
I'm in 1200 Baker Street, the new jail.
Okay.
Just built in like 04.
Okay.
I'm back. I'm still guilty, but I'm back for resentencing, life or death. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that obviously I had the death sentence, or I wouldn't be picking a jury for life or death. So that if they haven't figured it out by the time they're picked, they figure it out when they come back 2 weeks later. Because it takes 2 weeks to pick a death penalty jury. One by one, individual juror in the witness box gets questioned. Death penalty or dire. Yeah, they have to be death qualified in order to sit on the jury. So the whole thing's tilted against you. You think the first trial is a setup for farce of justice. When you go back on a sentencing retrial, the scales of justice are completely tilted against you. You find out the first time you put a juror in the box for jury selection, the DA just digs into you, man. This man is guilty of capital murder as he sits before you, and his sentence has been reversed. And you're here to decide life or death. Can you be fair? Come on, man. Yeah, it's just something to set up.
So so you had 2 juries on this thing, right? You had the first jury, which convicted you, and the second one was the death jury. What was that comprised of? I mean, old people, young people, white, black. Well, who was there?
I had a black Baptist minister and a black school teacher that looked like Rosa Parks, and a couple white women that were nurses, Latina, and the rest was white males. Both my juries sentenced me to die, and both of them I had 2 females hold out for the 4th and 5th hour, and then just 1 female hold out the 6th hour both times, and they ended up caving. They gave in to peer pressure each time.
Wow.
The attorneys will be outside the jury deliberation room listening to them argue and fight in there. You can't really hear what's going on, but you can hear a whole lot of voices grazing and people arguing. You can tell they're frustrated. They just want to go home. You know, after a trial, and so in my retrial, they were a hung jury at 5:30, 6 o'clock on Friday night. They said they were deadlocked and they needed more time. They sent out a note telling the judge we can't come to a decision. And that, to me, that was hope. I was like, oh man, there's something good going on here. I have a chance. So what happened is still shrouded in mystery. I'm thinking about getting my PI to go talk to the jurors and find out and investigate this issue. Because my grandmother, who's passed away, Grandma Thompson, rode on the elevator down at the edge. Dad came down on the next elevator, and Grandma was standing outside smoking a cigarette. The judge is at the crosswalk waiting for the street light to change. He's about to go across the street to the parking garage and go home. And the bailiff comes running out, Your Honor. The jury said they need another 2 or 3 minutes and they can have a decision. And all we know is the bailiff went and told them they were getting sequestered, that they were going to remain together and go to the Cockroach Motel in downtown Houston the Days Inn. And they were going to get Little Caesars for dinner, no TV, no phone, and that they would be back Saturday morning if they couldn't make a decision right now. And they said, we need 5 more minutes, we'll have a decision. And they were in there screaming and yelling at that woman that held out. They put pressure on her. She caved.
Does it have to be anonymous, or does everybody have to agree to the death penalty on this? Is it 12 people?
Yeah.
And they all have to be 100%.
Yeah, it's 10. Only 10 have to agree for life, I think.
Wow.
Maybe that's guilt innocent. Now, 12 on guilt innocence. I think the 10-12 rule is on life sentence. You can have 2 that want to give you death and 10 that want to give you life, and you can get life.
Wow.
So, yeah, it blew our minds, man, because all of a sudden they pulled us all back in the courtroom after they said we were done for the day, and we have a verdict. And we polled the jury and made each one of them stand up and say, is this your verdict? Yes, 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 yes. They wouldn't even look at us as soon as they came in. I knew from the first trial, I already knew that's a bad sign. Mm-hmm. When the jury comes back with the verdict and they don't look at you, you're done. Mm. You're going away.
Wow. So from that moment,
I'm in the holdover.
What's that?
I'm in the holdover praying up a storm, man. Ooh, man, I was sweating it. I did everything right from 1999 when I went to prison, the death row, until 2005. I fought it the legal way. I applied myself. I filed all kinds of stuff myself. The re-hearings, to the research, to writ of mandamus, motions, all kinds of stuff, man. And just nothing I did mattered. They want you, they're going to get you. So I had been looking at my own alternative plan for life. If they gave me a life sentence, I was going to go on to prison and try to do things the right way. Right. When I seen just how crooked the system is and how the scales were tilted against me, I went ahead and used my cunning and some of my role-playing skills from playing Dungeons & Dragons, and I just had created this own little character in my head that I was an internal affairs investigator, smuggled my clothes back for court, 3 days after I was given the death sentence, I was doing legal visits with attorneys, and I had smuggled my wrinkle-free cobalt blue dress shirt and Docker pants back to the jail cell with me. Instead of changing out, I just put my orange on over them, watered up the shirt, put it in my legal folder, and took them back. So I went to a legal visit. The first time wasn't good. Second time, they knew me. Third time I went, they changed shift at 2:30 in the afternoon, and I was in the legal booth, and the staff, they just changed all the staff on the floor. None of them knew me. Nobody came looking for me. And it was the day that they pulled the death row tank for recreation in the gym. I'm sitting there in an attorney booth with attorney James Redleg, death penalty lawyer in Texas, and he's believing that I'm fixing to hire him for $40,000, $50,000 or some obscene amount that I can't afford. And I hear him on the speaker in the hallway in the jail right behind me outside the booth saying all available deputies to 2J1 to pull recreation. And you hear all these handcuffs and shackles jingling, cops coming from every tank, every pod. The extra officer was going down there to pull a sag and chain us up and take us to the jail. So I knew it was routine, and I knew all of them would be down there, and I'm down here. And they didn't lock you in the legal booth back then. You're wearing handcuffs and leg irons. They didn't lock you in the legal booth. You're not supposed to come out. You're supposed to wait for them to come get you. But we'd always come out, go to the picket, and then they'd call and tell them, he's coming down the hall, man. Come get your prisoner. They're lazy. They didn't, it's typical jail. They don't do more than they have to do. So when I hear all the deputies going down the hall at the other end of the building to correct, I tell the attorney, okay, you're hired. You can come see me on death row, and we'll talk more then. And he gets up to leave, and he's like, you want me to tell him you're ready? No, the door's open. I'm good. I'm fixing to go back to my tank. So he leaves, and I spit out the handcuff key out of my mouth. I take off the handcuffs, take off the leg irons, and take off the orange, and I put on my cobalt blue dress shirt and tuck it in my pants. Put my gold, look like shooter glasses, gold rim, clear lens, reading glasses on. And I don't have any tattoos or anything. I got my prison ID, and I've covered the word offender on it with a piece of tape. And I throw the orange and the handcuffs in the corner. And I come out the booth, and I'm in character now. I'm now Investigator Thompson with Internal Affairs. I walk right past the main picket on the floor and calling out the inmate elevator. You hold up a finger to the camera, what floor do you want? It's the first floor. And away I went. Fool the eye, fool the mind, huh?
Where'd you get the handcuff key at?
Well, that's the question everybody wants to know to this day.
Well, do I get the answer? I want the answer.
No, I have to take that one to my grave. Huh?
Okay, all right. All right, that's clear.
So many people ask me that over the years, I laugh. So I had been down to the first floor to see my private investigator and meet with the drug and alcoholics for my retrial. So I knew the routine, and I had observed doctors and cops in street clothes. They walk up to the picket, give them a nod, and they roll the door and let them right on through to the free world side right there at the entrance of the 1200 Baker Street jail, where the visitors go in and out and the attorneys go in and out. I'm attempting to walk out right there. I come off the elevator, I walk towards the picket. I've already made eye contact with the guy. When he looks at me, I give him a nod, and he holds the first door just on general principle, because this is what he does all day. I fit the script. I talk the talk, and I'm walking the walk. I get into a little Sallyport area, and there's one more door, and I'm on the free world side. Right around the corner, there's 10 glass doors in the street. And he says, let me see your ID. I turn and look at him, and I flash it to him upside down because I had it backwards with the maculated strip showing. And he says, I've never seen one of those before. And I'm thinking to myself, I know you haven't. They always keep your prison ID and booking when you come into the jail. So they had never seen one before. And the female deputy that's sitting there with him, these are both Harris County Sheriff's deputies. She's a little short thing, about 5'4". She says, I said, I can't. They asked me, how'd you come into the jail? It's through the tunnel system. We don't have a visitor's tag. I'm like, I don't need one. I'm internal affairs. They're like, ooh, you could just see their bodies tense up. They look at the ID when I flash it at them, and I still clipped on my shirt collar. She tells the guy, oh, this happens all the time. Don't worry about it. I'll take him around to the desk to the sergeant. We'll get it cleared up. And she comes out of the picket booth and steps into the Sallyport area with me, and she's smiling. She's like, you wouldn't believe how often this happens. I'm like, really? So I size her up. She's 5'4". I'm almost 6 feet tall. I'm pretty sure I can run faster than she does if all else fails. She has no handcuffs, mace, gun belt, nothing. So I'm pretty sure no matter how bad this goes, when I go around the corner, I'm going to be free. I don't want a manhunt. I don't want to be chased down the street, by a pack of Keystone cops. So we walk around the corner, and it couldn't have gone any better. She gives my whole spiel to the sergeant for visitors check in. She validates my whole story. She says, oh, hey, Sarge, this is Investigator Thompson with Internal Affairs. He came in through the other jail, and he said, look at your ID, and I flashed it to him upside down because it's hanging backwards on my car. And he said, how'd you come into my jail? I said, came in through 701 through the other jail. I was here to make contact with a confidential informant. And I put my hands on my hips like I'm not too happy. I'm like, but y'all let him go. He says, okay, well, you need to get a visitor tag when you're coming into my jail. I tell him, yes, sir, I understand that. I had run down different scenarios in my mind so that I could talk the talk and walk the walk. And I looked at his badge number and told him, Sarge, I think his name was Smith, badge 2254. I will note your cooperation in my report. I'm going to meet with my partner who's waiting for me out in the car, and I'm going to meet with Major Barry, the supervisor of this jail, and I will note your cooperation in my report. And he smiled and said, oh, okay, thanks. And he said, you're free to go. Thank you. I turned around and walked right out the door. Hey, they told me I was free to go, man.
Wow.
They never prosecuted me for it either. They dismissed it.
So, I mean,
statute of limitations, non-aggravated escape, the statute of limitations is less than 10 years. It's been 19 years right now. Wow. I didn't hurt anybody. It was a non-aggravated offense. So
you hit the street. I mean, you had to be elated. I mean, I'm sure you like a high or something that walking out that door like that.
I've never had a almost like an out-of-body experience where my legs are telling me to run, and they want to run, and I'm trying to control them.
Wow, that is heavy pressure.
It's the same feeling like when you get out of jail for a parking ticket or anything.
Hold on, we lost you. Let me know when you're back. There we are. We're back. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same overwhelming sense of freedom when you walk out the jail, or whether it's a parking ticket or a murder case. 10,000-pound weight just in your shoulders.
So did you start hauling butt down the street then once you got out, or what'd you do?
No, that would be the wrong thing to do. I have to walk calmly. And I'm walking past parked cars, and I'm looking at ignitions for a set of keys. I'm looking for any fast way to get out of there. I didn't figure anybody would leave their keys in their car downtown Houston, third largest city in the United States. I walked all the way down past the parking lots, seen a deputy standing outside on a staircase smoking, nodded, gave him a nod like they all do, kept on walking all the way down to the corner, to the end of the jail, the overflow parking lot. Around the corner behind it's like the dirt parking lot. All the way around there behind the jail where I'm not supposed to be. I see a cop get out of his car and look at me, and he kind of shrugs, hits his alarm, and he walks away. I turned the corner behind the jail and turned around and came back at like 2 feet off the ground and was peeking around the corner and make sure he walked away and wasn't coming after me. And right there was the last place I'd been spotted wearing a cobalt blue long-sleeve dress shirt and tan Docker pants, which I knew was going to go out in the APB. So underneath I had a white muscle shirt and white gym shorts, and I had on white tennis shoes. So I did a quick change. I've been reading books about quick change magicians and illusion magicians. That's where I got some of my ideas. Like, you fool the eye, you fool the mind. If you fit the role, if you fit the script, and you talk the talk and walk the walk. So, wow. So I applied some just trickery, basically. I applied the quick change theory, and I took off the pants and the shirt and the prison ID, and I chunked them in a sub-basement stairwell going down into a basement in the dark down there. I chunked them all down there from behind. Like, this is the last place I was seen, and this is the last place that any evidence of me. So I changed to exercise clothes. I look like a jogger now. Right behind the jail is Metro bus station, right around the corner, around the bayou right there. There's a bunch of trees along the bayou of the Metro bus station. There's a bike path with joggers on it, people bicycling and people jogging. So I go about 100 yards around the trees on the side of the bayou right there, and I get on the bike path, and I'm a jogger now. I start jogging towards downtown Houston. I'm jogging along the bike path on a nice winter day, November 4th, and I go under I-10, just north of downtown, see the little shanty town, the cardboard shacks that hobos are built. There's all these people camped out under the freeway. I'm like, man. But I'm looking for any opportunity to get out of here ASAP, whatever presents itself. I'm looking for a phone. I want to call a cab, anything. And I know that once the word goes out, they're going to put a perimeter around me. Mm. And right after I went under the freeway, I see a corner store on the edge of a neighborhood right there by the bayou, and I see a payphone. I start heading that way, and I step into a bunch of mud. Between the pillars under the freeway, as I move like 10, 20 feet in that direction, all of a sudden a Metro cop car materializes. He's parked under the freeway between the pillars down there in the shade. So I do a quick 180, turn around and go back to the bike path, and I'm wiping the mud off my shoes on the concrete. And I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not going that way. There's a cop over there. So right about that time, he started his engine and turned on his lights and took off. And you wouldn't believe the amount of stress and panic that's just running through my mind. And oh no, the call went out. They're looking for me. Oh my God. You know, so I calmly walk away on the bike path as he drives off. Probably just got a call. So I know that once the call goes out, there's going to be helicopters and all kinds of planes and everything else flying around looking for me. Mm. I walked about another minute or two, and right about the time I seen the train tracks, I heard, here comes a freight train. Oh, man, here comes my ride. I'm out of here. I've been hopping trains since I was a kid. We used to hop them in the suburbs and ride them into the city. So I let the engine pass till I couldn't see the engine and the engineer anymore, and I ran along a dirt trail up to the tracks, and I turned and started running with the train, and I grabbed a ladder and hopped on. Away I went. This is at 2:45, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I rode all the way up to 610 and 59 off Cavalcade, and the train stopped and disconnected. They just dumped the half of the train I was on right there. There's a bunch of industrial businesses right there. And I sat there for like 5 minutes. Like, well, I guess this ride's over. Well, I got off the train, see backside of businesses and garage doors closed. Really don't see anybody. I look under the train in between it, and I see neighborhood. I realize I know where I'm at. I worked in Houston most of my adult life. I learned all the wards. I'm in Fifth Ward. I'm in the ghetto, and it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's probably like 3:30 now. It's like 3:30 in the afternoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I start walking into the dead end street right there by the train tracks. I walk into the neighborhood. I see a Dodge Ram 1500 for sale with white shoe polish in the window, $1,500. It's an older model. It's an old Mexican guy outside washing his driveway with the garden hose. It says Garcia on the gate. I walk up to him. Hey, the truck's for sale. He's looking at me funny. I look at myself, and I've got grease marks all over me from climbing on the train. Oh, yeah, man. Well, I got cover stories, scenarios that run through my head in practice while I'm sitting there, in the jail all this time. And tell them, oh, man, I work for Houston Auto Auction. I was driving this piece of crap Hyundai, and it broke down on me, and I had props with me, too, like a little check that I got out of a magazine. I said, man, I don't have any money. I need to cash my check. He's like, oh, there's a store over there about 10 blocks. I said, hey, the truck's for sale. I said, let me look at it. I buy and sell used cars. I said, okay. So I popped the hood. I know my way around the engine, checked the transmission, checked the oil, took off the air filter, looked at the carburetor. I thought, I just need to check the transmission to make sure it doesn't slip. The torque converter's good. And he's looking at me funny. He got a bad vibe, right? Mm. So he's just kind of, I tell him, hey, you got the keys? I just want to start it up. I'll come back and buy it tonight. Give you $1,300. No, $1,500. I'll give you $1,400. No, $1,500. I said, okay, well, I'm not coming back unless I know it runs. I guess he got a vibe that I was going to steal it. Mm. Hey, man on the lam, you're desperate. You need wheels. You need to get out of there,
Right.
So he says, nah, you come back tonight when my son's here. I was like, all right, can I use your phone? He's like, no, got a phone. He had a cordless phone in his back pocket, man. At that point, I knew it was time to beat my feet and get out of here, right? Mm. I told him thank you, and I walked off. I told him I'll be back later. So I walked down the street a couple blocks, and I see a red Cavalier do a U-turn on the street and pull up in front of a duplex. It's like a house that's been made into apartments, a couple apartments. I see these two big old black dudes, like 6 foot tall, get out. They're standing there. They light a cigarette while I'm talking on a cell phone. And they're looking at me like, what's this white dude doing in the hood, Mm. I walk right up to him and bum a Newport menthol cigarette off him. And, man, it was like lighting a joint or something. I got such a blast. They're looking at me like, what's up with you, man? Oh, man, my car broke down, man. It's just not my day. So I got my paycheck here. I got no money. I'm from the north side. I know I'm in Fifth Ward, so I need to get out the hood. They're like, yeah, you do. I'm like, I know. So hey, can you call me a cab? He said, I'll run inside till I'm all late. So he goes inside to call me a cab, right? So I'm standing outside talking to the other guy smoking a cigarette. He's all tatted up. I'm thinking that he's probably been to prison. See? And he's standing there looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, sure is a nice day, man. Sucks my car had a breakdown. He's like, yeah, happens to the best of us. All of a sudden we hear a siren. It sounds just like a cop car, man. I'm like, I look, he looks at me, and he smiles, and I'm hotboxing that cigarette now. Mm. We're both looking at the siren, and it's coming closer and closer. I'm looking over my shoulder behind me at the backyard and the fence. I'm like, I'm going that way if it's the cops. Fixing to start hopping fences. And I sat down on the railroad ties on the flower bed right there. There was like some little railroad tie retaining wall. Mm. I sat down on there because my knees were telling me run. Mm. I'm trying to maintain my composure, and he's looking at me, and he knows something's up. Mm. So now we're both looking, and here comes the siren, and it's coming. It's coming right up on us. It's coming down that street, side street right there, like a main street, right? Mm-hmm. And here it comes. He looks at me, I look at him, we both look again, and it's a Houston Fire Department ambulance. They use the same siren as the cops. So I'm like, he hears me sigh, and he looks at me and smiles, and he knows something's up, but he won't say nothing. Right? His buddy comes out, and he's like, yeah, well, the cab's on the way. I was like, hey, I appreciate it, man. So old lady's in there watching TV, and the things that are racing through my mind, man, I wonder if I'm on the TV. I wonder if he's seen me on the TV and called the cops. All these things go through your head.
Yeah.
So the Fiesta cab shows up. This old Mexican dude, cabbie, pulls up. I go up and get in the back of the cab. I tell him, hey, take me to the nearest check cashing place. They said there's one up here. Or the nearest bank would be better. And he's like, give me $20. I pull out my little green check, my prop that I got out of the magazine in the jail. I tell him, I got to cash my check right here. He said, give me $20. I said, I don't have any cash on me, man. I need it. My car broke down. I'm in the wrong neighborhood. Come on, man, help me out. It's like, no, get off my cab or I'll call 911. He dialed 911 and put his finger on the send. So I had to get out the cab.
And those dudes are still there?
Yeah. So I walked back up to them. They're like, what's up, man? Like, man, he wanted $20. It's like, yeah, I thought you knew. I was like, nah, I ain't rode a cab in 7-8 years, man.
Wow.
I've been in prison. I didn't tell him I've been in prison. So that dude gave me a ride to the check cashing place at the gas station. And I go in and wash up, come out. I call Mom. It's 4 o'clock. And she's like, turn on the news. What are they talking about? The weather. Change the channel to the other news. What are they talking about? The sporting event. Why? It's like, I escaped from the jail 2 hours ago. I don't even know I'm gone yet.
Wow.
I'm up on 610 The Loop. Yeah. So I'm looking at these two dudes, and they're like, man, so what's up? I'm like, man, can you give me a ride to that check cashing place down the street you told me about? She's like, yeah. Jump in the ride. So we're getting this Cavalier. And I'm sizing this dude up, and I'm like, man, ain't no way. I ain't even going to try him, right? So we ride down to the corner store. Drops me off. I go in and wash up. Try to get some grease off my arms, my legs. I'm wearing a muscle shirt, shorts. Got big old grease stains below my knees. Got smear on my clothes. Got grease on my forearms and elbow. Climbing inside the back of the grain hopper, like a little area between the ladders where you can crawl in like a little hole and hide. So I poo. It's like a poo from The Simpsons. You buy something, you leave. Like, man, shut up, man. I'm trying to wash up, man. You ain't got no bathroom? He's like, no. I'm over there taking a bath, and this mop gets stinking. Trying to get cleaned up, man. I'm on the street. I want to be presentable at least. I don't want to look like a hobo wearing white. So I look around. I'm like, man, I go outside and call my mom. 4 o'clock. I tell her, well, turn on the news. She accepts to collect calls. She thinks I'm in the jail. And what are they talking about? Weather. Change channel to this other channel. What are they talking about? Sporting event. Well, I left jail 2 hours ago. She's like, I can hear the cars on the freeway behind you. Like, yeah, I'm free. I'm up on the north side. I've been gone for 2 hours. They don't even know I'm gone yet. Wow. So I told her, hey, I just wanted to call and let you know I'm on the run. And she said, don't look back. I said, they're going to come pay you a visit soon, so just be ready. Just give her a heads up. And I told her, no matter what happens, remember I love you. I heard my dad in the background was like, you're not going to get him. They'll put you in jail, honey. She's like, I know, I'm not going anywhere. So I got to go, bye. So I hung up, man. And I did something after this that I wasn't too proud of. I've seen this lady pull up in this rather new car on the side street right there and turn around and park it on the curb. She's unloading groceries and a baby. And like a 2-year-old boy with her. They're going back and forth in the house getting the groceries. I walked up to her, and the keys are in the ignition. The car was running. I didn't want to take the car with her in it because I didn't want. She was in the back seat fishing around for a baby bottle or something. They got the groceries, the kids out of the car, everything. I walked up, like, excuse me, man. And I held that check in my hand. I was like, our car broke down, and I'm trying to get my check cashed. Think you can give me a ride to the bank? And I was about to jump in the driver's seat and take the car, but she's in the back seat, and I don't want to get mauled by a woman with fingernails that's in the back seat while I'm taking her car, you know. So she reached up, grabbed the keys. She reached up, grabbed the keys out of the ignition, and came out the back seat, the back door of the car, sort of with the keys in her hand. And I'm thinking, oh, why'd you have to go and do that? She's like, look, I don't really know you. I was like, that's all right. And I grabbed the keys out of her hand, and she screamed and ran off. I jumped in the car, and I've been locked up 8 years. Cars changed, right? GM had just put the ignition on the dash. It used to be on the column. And they have a little button like Toyota has where you got to unlock the wheel. So I'm trying everything, and I hand right over that button 2 or 3 times because I had Toyotas before. I couldn't get the key to turn in the ignition. I'm looking at the clock. I'm in the car for like 3 minutes. I put on the seatbelt, put my foot on the brake. All right, I'm trying everything. I can't get the key. Maybe that's the trunk key. I put the other key in there. I couldn't get the key to turn. I know after 3 minutes, the cops can show up in as quick as 3 minutes if they're in the area. So I got out and ran. She didn't lose her car. No harm, no foul. She didn't even want to be interviewed. They went out and talked to her like 10 hours later. She ID'd me. So then they had a sighting of me on the north side. After that, I disappeared. I went back to the train tracks and laid low till dark. Get out underneath the freeway by the train tracks, 59 and 610 interchange. It's right there underneath the big pillars. The sun's going down, and off in the distance I can hear sounds like planes and helicopters. I crawled up on top of this big electrical box. I stand up on my toes, tiptoes, man, and I'm looking. I can just barely see the tops of the downtown buildings over the tops of the trees, right? And I see helicopters and planes flying around downtown like a swarm of mosquitoes. So, oh, yeah, it's on. They're looking for me now. I knew without a doubt it was like 5:35, 5:45, sundown. Call had gone out. Well, I went back into hiding underneath the freeway, and I think around 6:30, 7 o'clock that night, a northbound train came through there, and I tried to hop on a boxcar. The train was moving pretty good clip, like 15 miles per hour, maybe 20. It was moving. The ladders were rushing past me, and I'm looking back, and I see boxcar, oil tanker, boxcar, oil tanker. I'm running alongside the train, and I'm trying to gauge it and get the right ladder, and I messed up, and I grabbed one of those black tube oil tanker cars. I grabbed the ladder on that. There's no letting go. You might end up falling into the train and lose a leg. It's very dangerous. So I climbed up between the cars, and there's nowhere to hide, man. And the sun's going down. It's still twilight, but the sun's down. It's getting darker and darker by the minute. And we're going across these road crossings. Here's this white guy standing between 2 train cars on a little walkway holding a little bar. Ding, 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 ding. And it's all over the news. An inmate just escaped from the jail, and nobody called the cops. I'm across like 4 road crossings like that in the next hour, and nobody called the cops. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Going all the way up. The train tracks I was riding on were parallel to East Texas Freeway 59 North, which I guess they're calling it 69 now. Came right through Livingston. The train stopped somewhere outside Cleveland before Livingston. It pulled over for like 10 minutes, and an Amtrak blew through. The train engineer got off and checked the train. I'm hiding in a box. I ran back and got in a boxcar. So I'm hiding under a big slip of cardboard in the corner. I guess they check the train every time it stops now. This is new to me. I've never seen them do this before. So now I got my Hobo Cadillac. I'm riding in a boxcar with an open door. And away I go. Rode right through Livingston, right through the train stop in Diboll, Texas. Little small town. Sat there on the train tracks right there at the road crossing in downtown for like 3 or 4 hours. And I went and burglarized a little building to get some clothes and some food, like a little office shed on a sandblasting company. I had the hat on when they arrested me, so they asked me about it, and I was like, yeah, I did it. I could pretty much done anything, and they wouldn't charge me with it. I mean, I had the death penalty, you know. So I got hat, clothes, a pullover thermal shirt, a flashlight, some food, like a loaf of bread, some sandwich meat, cheese, some of those little Halloween candy bars out of the freezer, a gallon of water, and a bunch of paper towels. Like, man, I'm set to go. I got food, water, toilet paper. I'm not getting out of this train until it stops, and I'm staying in it for the whole weekend. Wow. I rode it all the way south of Shreveport, 250 miles away. I spent the night in several train yards, and the train disconnected. They'd stop in the train yard, leave me there for 5 hours during the day. I slept. First time in like 2 days. I went through Rita, Louisiana, all the way up towards Shreveport. So my whole adventure was riding in the boxcar, watching the world go by. I've seen red-tailed hawks, deer, squirrels. I'm taking it all in, man. I like sensory overload. It's fall. It's hunting season, so you got to be careful, because I found out real quick that in Louisiana, Bubbas like to hunt along the train tracks. They got deer stands everywhere along the train tracks. They wait for that deer to step out in the open. Pow! Wow. Yeah, so I'm riding the train, man. So I got my slices of bread, and I had like a 2-day supply, at least 3 or 4 days supply of food, but the ham was going bad after 2 days. But after like day 3, I was eating cheese sandwiches, a bag of corn chips, and the final stop in the train was the AP paper mill, 50 miles south of Shreveport. They disconnected, and the engine took off up the main line, and I was back on my feet. I grabbed my bags with my little bit of food, and I walked away from the paper mill plant. I was going away from the tracks. I thought I was going towards civilization because of the power lines and everything, just an assumption on my part. But little did I know I was out in the middle of nowhere. Well, this black dude came driving along in a big dump truck. Obviously, he worked on the paper mill. He pulled up to me and said, "Hey, man, what are you doing?" I said, "Man, I'm Katrina Evacuee, man. I just got off the train, man. I don't want no trouble, man. Just trying to follow the power lines heading towards civilization." He said, "Man, there ain't nothing that way for 20 miles, dude." I said, "Really?" He said, "Best thing you can do is hike back up to all the train tracks back up to the main line and catch you another train." I said, "Hey, I appreciate it, man." He said, "Look, security sees you. They're gonna nab you. They're gonna escort you off the property. My call the law." I said, "Look, dude, I ain't got no money. I got no ID. I'm vagrant. I don't want to go to jail, man. Please don't tell security. I'll get off your property pronto this minute." He said, "Go back up that road to the train tracks." So I had to walk past the paper mill. Here comes security. He told on me, man. He told on me. Here comes security. So I hide between like 3 or 4 rows of trains that they have sitting on the tracks. They finally burn off. And it's muddy. I have to get out between the trains and get back up on the road. And I start hoofing it. I'm jogging. Got a gallon of water in one hand and a grocery store plastic bag in the other. A little bit of food, right? And they come barreling down the road, and this time they seen me. There was no running. I didn't want them calling the cops. They drove right up to me and said security on the back of the white pickup truck. Like, "You the one that was on the train?" But then I knew he told on me then. I was like, "Man, look, man, I'm Katrina Evacuee, man. I ain't got nothing, dude. I ain't causing no trouble, man. But look, we got to escort you off the property, man." can't be on our property. So I'm going back up the train, man. I'm getting off your property. No, come on, man, get in the truck. Y'all not going to call the law, are you? No, man, we're just going to take you around the front gate and let you go. All right, man. I jumped in back in the truck. And they drive all the way through the paper mill plant right up to the front office by the parking lot. Out comes the boss wearing a suit, the receptionist, dispatcher, office workers. And it's like a country powwow there. I'm in the back of the pickup truck, and they're standing all the way around the bed of the truck, from left to right, like a clock, all the way around, right? And they just start firing off questions. Where you from? What happened to your pants? So I ripped the whole ass end out of my pants climbing on and off the train. The boss says, you ain't no scared killer, are you? No, man, I'm harmless as a teddy bear. I said, you seem like an all right fella. Because of the Deanie, she said, you got some pants and shirt that'll fit this old boy? She said, I reckon we got something in there that'll fit him. He said, son, you go on into the employee locker room in there and get you a shower and get cleaned up. We'll give you some clean clothes and we'll take you down a truck stop and drop you off. I told him I was a Katrina evacuee. Like, second question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are you doing riding the train? It's all, man. I had to evacuate New Orleans when Katrina hit. I lost everything. Where'd they evacuate you to? Nebraska? I'd seen this on TV, right? How'd you get back here riding trains?
Wow.
They bought my story. People in Louisiana are real friendly, man.
Mm-hmm.
I love Louisiana. So I go in the employee locker room, and I take a shower and get cleaned up. And they bring clothes in there and set them on the bench. I come out, I walk outside, and two bubbas from security are sitting on the little park bench right there. Like, oh, come on inside. And you can believe the things that are going through my head. I'm like, I want to walk in there. There's going to be a Louisiana state trooper waiting to talk to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these weird thoughts are racing through my mind. I want to bolt, but I know I don't want. It's a bad idea to run, right?
Mm-hmm.
Draw a bunch of attention. I walk in there and I'm looking around the corner. I'm waiting for it. So come on in here, have a seat. I hear a microwave ding. She brings a plate of fried chicken with biscuits and coleslaw and beans, sets it down in front of me. I'm like, oh, God bless y'all. Like, here. They think I'm a Katrina evacuee. I done sold them on it, huh? So I eat the chicken like I tear through like 3 pieces of chicken in like 2 minutes, man. I'm not even chewing it. I'm just ripping it off the bone and swallowing it. I'm hungry, man.
I bet.
I've been eating cheese sandwiches for the past 24 hours. I haven't had any real solid food, right? And I was like, man, I'm losing daylight. I need to go. They're like, hold on a second. She didn't repack my bag, a bunch of chips and candy bars out of the vending machine, and they give me a 2-liter of soda. Here, drink right out the bottle. You can take it with you. Here's your pack of cigarettes. Here's a lighter. Like, oh, man, thanks, man. I need to go. I'm losing daylight. They're like, hold on. They all pull out their wallets and throw down like $22 in cash. That's for you. Come on, we're going to take your trucks out now. I said, God bless Louisiana. I love Louisiana. Thank y'all. I said, come on, since you're clean, you can ride in the truck with us now. I'm like, oh, man, this is going to be interesting. So I get in the middle of the cab, and of course, they got questions. So I did the same thing I did when I was returning from court after I got a death penalty. And they had a deputy take me through dress out where I smuggled the clothes back. I did it right in front of him while I was talking to the other deputy.
Wow.
That dude was escorting me all the way to my cell. I engaged him in a big conversation about deer season starting next week. What kind of rifle you hunt with? So I did the bubbles the same way. About deer hunt? Like, oh, yeah, man, it's open season right now. What kind of rifle you use? 306 is your standard answer. Most people in the South, right? Gold Mile, man, I like a 270. It's got the same range and distance and stopping power, but it doesn't kick. It doesn't bruise your shoulder like a 30-06. I'm like, really? You got to try one, man. You really like it. Nice rifle.
Nice.
Just talking about hunting all the way to the truck stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
So You from that, I mean, how long were you on the run?
This is Sunday. I escaped on Thursday afternoon.
And this was Sunday.
This is Sunday night. Yeah, it's a Sunday afternoon. Late afternoon. So they dropped me off at the truck stop on the side of the building where the civilian gas pumps are. And I go right to the pay phones, pick up the phone, I come on the phone, got my ball cap, and I put it back on. I'm watching the civilian pumps, and I'm trying to hitch a ride with somebody. I want to get away from this truck stop as fast as possible. I got to wait for them to leave and drive down the road. So I go to the pay phone, and I'm just kind of pulling my hat down real low over my eyes. And I've got my arm over the phone, and I'm staring at my shoes, trying to hide my face. Because I know my picture's all over the TV. What does every truck stop in the United States have? 24-hour satellite cable news.
Mm.
And they got people in there watching TV. Truckers are in there watching TV, you know.
Mm.
The wrong place to go.
Yeah.
I knew better, huh? So I'm around the corner where nobody can see me on the side of the building. So I see this couple gassing up this big four-door Cajun Cadillac truck. And they pull up right there by the payphones. And he gets out, makes a call on a cell phone, and this is his pretty little wife, little Southern Belle. She gets out, she's stretching, she's walking around. I said, all right, I got to go. And I hung up the phone. I wasn't even talking to nobody. And she hears me, and she looks up. I said, excuse me, ma'am, are y'all heading to Shreveport? I see the sign right there on the freeway right there. It says Shreveport, 49 miles. She says, as a matter of fact, we are. Do you need a ride? I sure do. And her husband hears me talking to his wife. She goes, all right, we'll be there in a little bit. And he hangs up his phone. I said, what's up, man? So he's looking for a ride to Shreveport. He said, oh, come on, man, get in. Wow, okay. I cleaned it up. Got a long sleeve blue jean shirt and blue jeans on. And all cleaned up. I had all the bug bites on my arms from the mosquitoes while I was riding the train.
Mm.
Yeah, I was torn up, man.
Mm.
My muscles were torn up from running. He comes around to the back of the truck, opens up the door, and pushes her leopard skin bag over, and puts me in the seat right behind his wife. We jump in the truck, and away we go down, I think it's Highway 99. It runs from like Shreveport to Louisiana and down to New Orleans, right? And we're heading toward Shreveport now. It's Sunday, it's late afternoon, and man, there's Harleys and Corvettes blowing by us like we're standing still. We're doing like 75, 80.
Wow.
I'm looking at the motorcycles. He's looking at them too. I turn around next time I hear some Harleys coming up behind us, and I see all these stickers in his back window of the truck. Policemen's Union, Sheriff's Association. I'm like, no way. You got to be kidding me. Oh, no. So I looked at him in the rearview mirror. He glances at me and said, what line of work are you in? He said, medical field. I'm thinking, okay, it must be a doctor. It's like a $60,000 truck. It's got leather interior. It's 4x4, 4-door. This is 2005, you know. It's a pretty expensive truck. I'm thinking, okay. And she's over there playing with her phone, and she's been asking me questions. So you evacuated from New Orleans? I'm like, yeah. She said, where do you live? I said, French Quarter. She turned around and looked at me. She says, I'm from New Orleans. The French Quarter didn't flood. I'd been watching the news while I was in the jail when Katrina hit. It's like, yeah, but the sewer pipes, I had like three feet of sewer sludge and sewer and waste back up in my flat. I know they call an apartment in New Orleans a flat.
Mm.
She's like, yeah, the sewer did back up. You're right. I'm like, yeah, I know, lady. I watched some TV. Wow. She's like, so where did you work? And I was like, oh, I'm a line cook at Marriott. She's like, oh, I have a friend who works there. I'm like, jeez, I'm trying to change the subject, right? She's gonna catch me in a lie any minute now, right? I started asking him some questions. I said, so what area of medicine do you practice? He's like, oh, several, man. Like general practitioner or something like that. I'm like, okay. So it gets quiet. She's done with her phone. And we've been riding for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I'm they were just coming out with the internet on the phones, the smartphones.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real smartphones came out in like 07, 08. This lady hands her cell phone to her husband and says, "Look at this, honey." He looks at the phone, looks at her, hands it back to her, pats her on the shoulder and tells her it'll be all right. She turns sideways and she's looking at me out of the corner of her eye now. She's facing her husband who's driving in the passenger seat. I'm in the back seat behind her. And he looks at me in the rearview mirror. I seen his arm reach down in the door. I swear I heard a gun cock. And he says, "Hey, man, we're going to let you off the first exit as soon as we get to Shreveport." And they had already agreed to take me downtown to the Salvation Army shelter and drop me off, right?
Mm.
He said, "Hey, we're going to let you off at the first exit when we get into Shreveport." I was like, "That'll be fine. I appreciate it. Thank you." And the rest of the ride was quiet. She's sitting there watching me out of the corner of her eye. I think she ID'd me on the phone.
Uh-oh.
She read something.
Hmm.
And she handed it to him, and he's like, "Hey, we're going to drop you off the first exit, Bubba." Because prior to that, they were going to take me all the way into Shreveport to the Salvation Army shelter. I know something was up. If I had any suspicion, it was confirmed when they got off that exit. He blazes down to Cedar Street doing about 60, whips into a gas station. "Here you go, man. This is your stop." I get out, and he punches it through a yellow light. I guess that was their exit, and they keep on going.
Wow.
And I go across the street, catty corner across the intersection to another gas station, and I go around by the car wash by the phones off to the side, and I drop my bags behind the bushes, and I get on the phone. I'm talking to somebody, and I watch that gas station for the next 15, 20 minutes to see if the cops come. I guess it's Sunday. They didn't want any trouble. They didn't want to mess with it, so they just got rid of me, right?
Wow.
So I got lucky. I didn't call it alone.
Yeah.
My ride's running short anyway. I just don't know it yet. So I see these two white guys in a lowrider S10 pull up, base. You know, they're basing. They got the little system going. They pull up to the gas pumps. I went inside and asked, "Where's the nearest Western Union?" So I'm ready to call my girlfriend in Australia and get some money wired. I'm tired of riding trains, and I need some money. They tell me Berkshire Brothers on this road, about a mile up on the other side of the freeway, it's Berkshire Brothers, Western Union. Okay? So I see these two white dudes pull up in this truck, start pumping gas. I go outside. "Hey, man, y'all heading that way up towards Berkshire Brothers?" "Yeah, you need a ride?" "Yeah, jump in the back, man." They see the AP paper mill on my shirt. "Man, you work at AP paper mill? I've been meaning to go there and apply for a job." "Hey, man, go see Jenny. She's hiring, man." That's the secretary that got me the food. Yeah. I said, "Go see Danny. Tell her I sent you."
Amazing.
Yeah, they get you right to Berkshire Brothers, man. I go inside. I got $22 in my pocket. It's time to do some shopping, dude. I'm like, yeah. So I go over to the pharmaceutical area. I get some deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste. I can brush my teeth. And I'm looking around, you know, like, man, I haven't been in a store in like 8 years, man. I take a trip down the aisle looking for something to snack on, and I get to the end of the aisle of the coolers, and there's the beer. I'm like, nah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you should. Nah, you shouldn't. Nah, man, you've been 8 years, you earned it. It's been a rough day. Natural Light on sale for like $3.99 a 12-pack, right? It was dirt cheap. I couldn't pass it up. I grabbed a 12-pack. I go to the cash register. I already confirmed, that they had Western Union. I go out, pay for my beer, and I go to the customer service booth. "Y'all have Western Union?" "Yeah." "Okay, I got to go make some phone calls. I'll be back." So I went up to the cash register to pay for my beer. I'm flirting with the little black girl. I'm like, "Can you double bag it so it can still stay cold?" She's like, "Well, you drinking this, huh?" I said, "Shh. What time you get off, girl?" She's like, "Oh, you're so silly." I'm flirting with her because I don't want her to ID me. I ain't got no ID, man. I get my beer. Every Berkshire Brothers is the same. At one end of the store is the doors going in and out. Away at the opposite end is a picnic table, where the employees take their break, and the soda machine, and all. So I'm all the way down at the other end, away from the entrance, in the front of the store. I'm sitting down there at the picnic table. I got brown paper towel wrapped around my beer. I cracked it open and took a sip. It's just like that first beer you drank when you were a kid. Your mouth starts watering, and you're like, ugh, ooh. You hadn't had a drink in 8 years.
Wow.
I call my friend in South Africa, she's not answering. Call my girlfriend in Australia, she don't answer. I pick up the newspaper that's sitting there on top of the newspaper machine next to the soda machine. I see my face in the front page.
Wow.
Like right inside the front page, the next page, I see a little picture of me. I tear it out, throw it in the trash can. I'm sitting there looking through the paper, Saturday, Sunday. I don't see any other, one other little article in the Metro section about my escape. You have 1 minute left. No picture.
Wow.
So I'm looking around, scanning the parking lot. I'm always on alert, man.
Yeah.
And you've seen all these stories on the news about cops looking for people that went on the run during the hurricane and everything. They got task force looking for people that skipped parole,
right,
skipped registering, whatever, right?
Wow.
So this lady walks up to me and asks me if I'm looking for a job. And I'm like, why do you ask that? Like, you're looking at the job section. Oh, yeah, I am, aren't I? She gives me her phone and tells me talk to her husband. Come on down the street here, about 2 blocks, mechanic shop. I'm hiring right now. I'm like, okay. I watch her leave. She gets in a white SUV and drives up to the intersection at the top of the hill in front of the parking lot. So I watched this lady drive up in a white SUV, go to the light, turn to the intersection, and I lose track of her in traffic. I'm sitting there, trying a phone call, I'm sitting there drinking a beer, looking at the newspaper, and I've scanned. Every few minutes I'll scan the parking lot, scan my surroundings, scan off the horizon of the distance, the street, everything. I'm watching for cops. I mean, I'm on the run. I'm America's most wanted. I'm number 1 on the FBI's most wanted list, so I'm being extra cautious. About this time, I scan across the street in the strip center, and I see a white SUV pulled up, driver talking to a white Crown Victoria. And I come straight up out of my seat, grab my bag, and get my stuff together, grab my beer and my bag. And well, right before she had approached me, I had seen Sacker at Berkshire Brothers wearing an apron. He came riding by on a mountain bike behind the store and came walking by me a few minutes later, tying his apron on. And I had made a mental note. If you didn't chain that bike up, you're fixing to lose that. That's transportation. I had already planned on getting the bike and leaving whenever I was through making my phone calls. So I got spooked. I had seen all these stories on the news about task force looking for people on the run, people registered sex offenders that skipped town when Katrina hit, and they were trying to round up all kinds of people. So I think it's a cop. They didn't know who I was. I swear when I talked on her cell phone before she gave it to me, she was talking to her husband. I swear she snapped a picture of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, wow, man. So I run off around the corner behind this store, and I get on the mountain bike, and I ride away behind the store where they can't see me. We're on like 130th Avenue on the west side of Shreveport, and I ride all the way into the ghetto. It's like 71st Avenue. And it starts to get dark, right? I finally get a hold of my girl in Australia, and I asked her to wire some money to me. Use her son's name as a code name, and I'll call back and get the number. And I'm on the phone most of 2 minutes. She's trying to keep me on the phone, and I'm kind of suspicious, but I'm like, look, they can trace the call under 2 minutes. I get it under 2 minutes. I'll call you back in a couple hours. She's like, all right, you get the kids off to school, and I'll wire you some money. She thought I was coming to be with her, as far as I knew. Planning on going to Australia. But little did I know that she was setting me up to get the reward. So I go down to the city park across the street from the fire station, and I take my shoes and socks off and put my feet in the grass. And the little things in life that we miss, being free. Sit there and watch the sunset, drink some beers, and get back on my mountain bike about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. I ride back down the road. There's a bunch of stores. I found a store where there was just one payphone, so I'd have to worry about anybody else being next to me. And I called her, and she answered. I talked to her for a minute. She gave me the number, and told her, all right, I'll be there in a few weeks. Told her to start looking for IDs on eBay, and I'll have you mail them to me when I get to Canada. She's like, oh, you're going to Canada? I was like, yeah, man. Change the passport. This is before they had smart IDs and all that. I'll be there in a few weeks. So talking to her, she's like, let me tell you what they said in the newspaper Friday. They said that the victims' families in protective hiding, that they're afraid you're going to come after them and kill them. I'm like, are you serious? Man, that's crazy. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to go free. I'm not trying to go after anybody. I don't wish anybody any ill will. I'm lit. I'm drunk off my butt. So, I got to go, girl. I got to go. I've been on the phone 2 minutes. I don't know. Saturday it said they put the jurors in hiding, too. They're scared you're going to go after them, too. I'm like, oh, what am I, like Charles Manson now? Come on, man. They're playing me out to sell newspapers. She said, Sunday's paper says you had inside help in the jail. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. They're just selling newspapers. I've been on the phone like 3 or 4 minutes now. Well, I'm pretty sure they traced the call the first time to the area code. But I heard them talking about they're fixing to arrest me here in just a minute. I heard them talking later about they had teams set up on every side of town. They were just waiting for me to call back. So she played the I Love You card. I can't wait to be with you. And lovey-dovey. And I stayed on the phone for another minute and a half, 2 minutes. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to hold you and all this stuff. Meanwhile, she's just trying to keep me on the phone so she can get her $10,000 reward. Sold me out. I heard a tire bark. I turned around and there's 5 Ford Tauruses and a half moon all.
Hold on, just broke up. This is a good part here. Hold on, let me know. Hold on. You said you turned around and what?
There's 5 Ford Taurus subcompact cars in a 180-degree arc all the way around the parking lot, all the way around it. And all the doors are flying open on these cars, and they're coming up over the tops of the doors with MP5s, 9mm, shotguns. Get out, federal agents, task force, get out, get on the ground. I set the gigs up, and I dropped the phone, and I reached for this guy. I didn't think that she turned me in at this. I mean, it happened so quick. But I reached for this guy. I stuck my arm straight up in the air. Get out on the ground now. I shook my head no. I said, get out on the ground. Shook my head no. Y'all ain't killing me. I've seen this on TV too many times. He was going for a gun. All it takes is one trigger-happy cop, and you're dead. They're going to fill you full of holes like a block of Swiss cheese. Telling me. The guy was in the lead car right dead center in front of me, the one that barked the tire. I guess he was the leader of the task force. He starts walking toward me with a shotgun pointed at me, and he racks a shell. And my whole life flashed before my eyes. I really thought he shot me. I was like, wow. He's like, get on the ground. I shook my head no. So they came running up to me from all sides and grabbed me and slammed me on the ground. I had girls pressed against my body, my head, I had a knee on my neck, a foot on my arm, my shoulder, my back. And they cuffed me, ripped the hat off, grabbed me by the hair, lifted my head up, said, what's your name? Who are you? I said, you know my name, or you know who I am, or you wouldn't be coming like this. Sat me up on the curb. And they all started jumping around, high-fiving each other like some football players. We got him already. Woohoo! I was sick. I was physically sick. I was more disgusted than I was the first or the second time I got the death penalty put together, just knowing that I was coming back to the Pulaski unit, the worst prison in America.
Wow. And so
that's what made me sick, just knowing I'm coming back to this dump.
And then from that point on, I'm sure they obviously put you in some sort of higher security system prison, right, or jail on your way through?
Oh, they put me in the back of a squad car with a female deputy and had her take me to county jail. I got there and they just walked. They had a team of people waiting on me when she got there in the patrol car. They were following us. I'm sure. I'm cuffed behind my back in the back of the squad car. I really can't turn around. I'm drunk. I'm in the zone, man. I was just like mesmerized. I wasn't even aware of my surroundings anymore. It's over. Going back to the row. I was disgusted. So I get to the jail. They got a team of people waiting for us when we come in. They rush me in. They see that I'm drunk, and I couldn't even hardly stand up by then. And they're like, well, just put him in the padded cell in there. So they throw me in the padded drunk tank, and I lay down and went to sleep. I woke up a few hours later. My face was stuck to the rubber padded floor, like, need water. Oh, so dehydrated, man.
Wow.
There's no water fountain. There's no water fountain or sinker in there, anything. So I'm banging on the door. They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, yeah, what? You got death row messed up. I start mule kicking the door. Man, they came about 20 deep. I opened that door, and I got like 3 tasers pointed at me, about 20 cops. Man, that was a trip.
They give you water?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah. Did they give you water?
Yeah. They were like, get on your knees.
Did you?
Like, hey, I don't want trouble, man. I just want some drink. They, come on out. I said, don't tase me, bro. They're like, well, come on over here in this hole. Over here, drink all the water you want, and we're going to fingerprint you and finish booking you. You were too drunk earlier. I was like, yeah, I feel it. I'm pretty hungover.
Wow.
I drank about a gallon of water, got fingerprinted, went through booking, went to the jail, and they put me in a suicide cell with a big glass window for a door and a hospital gown, split on the backside, suicide blanket, nothing else. I said, this is how you're going to be until you leave. So it was that parish in Shreveport, that was their policy, that anybody that has the kind of charges that I had, that they keep you on suicide watch for a sick risk. So at this point, I'm like, wow, this sucks. So twice a day, they'll come and open your cell door, open the slot, and it's got an eye bolt bolted through the slot. And they handcuff you to the eye bolt, and they swing the door open and shake your cell down. And you got this hospital gown, butt cheeks showing, and I'm trying to hold it shut behind you. It's got like one string where you can tie it shut. And you got a whole tank full of dudes looking at you, 1 row, 2 row, 3 row. You're down on the first floor in front of the day room where all the tables are where they all eat. There's just like a counter right there with guards sitting there, and they're watching you. The window's like 10 feet tall and like 8 feet wide on the door. The big old door, right? It's called the suicide cell. So I can watch you. They can see everything you're doing in the cell. Wow. Hey, man, I'm cool. I finally got a chaplain to give me a Bible second day. I went to court on like Tuesday, and I waived extradition. Little did I know that Clive Stafford Smith was wanting me to fight extradition. He was wanting to get in front of the media, claim his 5 minutes of fame, I guess, that he represented me and he wanted to fight the extradition. As an attorney, he should have known that they had a new federal fugitive law. I was a convicted felon. The marshals were just going to come get me either way. If I fought extradition, they were just going to get me under the federal fugitive law and take me back anyway. I'd rather Harris County came and got me. I didn't want to deal with the marshals. They're pretty rough with you.
So how long were you there before you got moved? Sunday
night, Monday, and Tuesday morning, I went to court and waived extradition, represented myself, waived extradition, and they sent me back to the jail. And a few hours later, Harris County was there to get me. two deputies, two guys from the task force, a lieutenant, sergeant showed up to get me. White guy and a black guy. They were pretty hot. They were steamed. They've been up for like 4 or 5 days straight looking for me. I was actually sitting in a public waiting area in Booking on the jail side, not the free world side, where the inmates sit, watching TV with no handcuffs on. When they came in, all right, we're going to step on the counter, leg irons, and like, we're here to get Thompson, blah, blah, blah. We're going to bring him down here. We got to shackle him up, blah, 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 blah. And I'm listening to these jokers. I'm sitting right behind him, about 20 feet away, watching TV. I said, hey, I'm right here. They reached for their guns, but they didn't have them. They were inside the jail. And they're like, what is he doing? He's supposed to be wearing restraints. They're like, gentlemen, he ain't gave us no problem. Just, I get over here. They grab me by each arm and they haul me over to a chair. They're like, get over the chair. Or manhandling me. Trying to put the leg irons on me. I was like, hey, man, just can we be civilized? Y'all got me. I'm going back. I'm not giving you any problems. We've been up for 5 days looking for you. We ain't had no sleep. So I understand all that. I've been up 5 days myself. We got a long trip ahead of us. And we can do this the easy way or we can do this the hard way. It's up to you. I'm going willingly. I'm not giving you any trouble. So can y'all please calm down? They just kind of looked at me and they took a deep breath and like, all right. Gentlemen, please. We've got a long trip ahead of us. I'm like, you're right. Turn around so we can cut him. All right. I'm giving you no problems. I'll give you my word. So after that, things were cool. They took me to the little small airport, and they had a Cessna 4-seat Cessna plane owned by the DPS pilot that was flying us back. A 1979 4-seat brown bomber. I looked at this plane and looked at him and thought, we're flying in that? I like to live, right? You're like, oh, man, that's my personal plane. I said, that don't make me feel any better. Four grown men that are like 250 pounds each. They said, oh, it's got to be 12 in it. I said, does it fly well? He said, I just rebuilt the engine. I said, oh, that don't make me feel any better. No, come on, man. We'll be all right. All right. So we get in the plane and put on little headsets with the microphones, and the questions start right away. So how'd you do it? So where'd you get the handcuff key? So tell us what happened at this point. So I'm like, trade secret. I can't tell you. Job security, I'm being a smart ass. They just keep your hands where we can see them. They put the black dude in the back seat next to me because he was a lefty. They put him on my left side, his son on his left side away from me. And they told me, if you make one wrong move, we're going to shoot you. Because we don't know if you got that key on you still. Keep your hands where we can see them. I'm like, man, look, I'm not trying nothing. I don't want to crash and die. So they're talking to me on the way back, and I really didn't tell them a whole lot of nothing. Just a lot of jokes, trying to lighten the humor. Like the air was so thick he could have cut it with a knife.
Mm. So back to Harris. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, we're supposed to fly to the hobby, but there was bad weather. So of all places, they flew me into my hometown, into Hooks Airport, Tomball, Texas. I couldn't believe it. Flew right into my hometown. I didn't recognize it at all. I've been gone 8 years, and it used to be all ranches and trees all around Tomball. It was now nothing but suburban streetlights and rooftops for as far as you could see after the housing boom. 03, 04, 05, 06. I think the housing market crashed in 08. And it's a whole different town now.
Wow.
Now, we landed on the tarmac after dark, and they said that the rest of their task force, a couple of vehicles, were all the way at Hobby Airport, so they had to come all the way to Tomball to get us. So when we landed on the runway and turned off the plane, and we exited the plane, and we're going to go to the U.S. Marshal's hangar to wait, this girl came out, walking up to us out of the dark, said, "Excuse me, sir," and they drew their weapons and stepped in front of me, and I swear it was Darren's former girlfriend that was at the trial. It looked just like her. It freaked me out. This girl came walking up out of the darkness on the runway at the airport. And they're like, "You can't be here, man. We're transporting a prisoner." And she said something like, "I know." And she turned around and walked off in the dark. I was like, wow, that freaked me out.
Now, who did you think she was?
Darren's ex-girlfriend that was sitting in trial crying her eyes out about the love of her life. The bartender.
Right, okay.
Looked just like her.
Weird. And you have no idea who it was? Did she just walk away?
No. Yeah, she just walked away into the night. And they hurried me towards the marshal's hangar, got me inside, and they were standing post at the door. And they were very uncomfortable after that because they thought it was somebody trying to break me loose.
Yeah.
I don't know that chick, man. I ain't nothing to do. Like, yeah, like we're going to listen to you at this point. I'm like, okay, whatever. They sent me down in their lounge area on a leather sofa and gave me the remote. Gave me a soda to sit here and chill till our team shows up. One was at the door right there at the lounge. The other one was down the hall at the entrance to the hallway. They're standing guard, waiting for their team to show up. We were in the U.S. Marshal's hangar.
Wow.
And, well, first I forgot. First they took us to the Homeland Security hangar while they called the marshals and got them to come and lock their hangar. We went to the Homeland Security hangar first, and there was a guy in an Air Force flight suit, and he took a bunch of pictures with me. He wanted them like souvenirs. Yeah,
great
trip. And then we went to the marshal's hangar and waited. Yeah, we went in there first with the Air Force guy because they made him feel safe. They were freaking out, man.
It sounds pretty sketchy. Like that whole situation right there sounds pretty weird. So you get from there. You're back to Harris County.
I get in a brand new Chevy Trailblazer 2005 with the sergeant from the task force and the lieutenant, sergeant, and it still has the plastic on the floor mats. I look at the odometer, and it's got 120 miles on it. I said, "Man, this puppy's brand spanking new." He said, "You'd like it, Thompson?" "Sure, bought this for me today." Since they got you, since we got you and we're bringing you back, I got a brand new Chevy Trailblazer courtesy of the county. I got to pick the color and everything, champagne silver.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty nice, man. It's something to be getting a promotion to you. You know, I worked every division in the sheriff's department, and I just took over fugitive task force. You just spent my career telling me on the way to the jail. Remember that first episode of Cops where they filmed them on the elevated freeway in Houston with the riding on the rims with the flat tires and sparks flying? That I was the one hanging out the window filming that with the camcorder. I'm like, no kidding.
Wow.
I said, yeah, I used to work robbery, auto theft, homicide. I worked everything. Wow. So while I'm sitting there talking to him, this cell phone rings, and it's the sheriff. "Yes, sir." He's sitting right here next to me. "Yes, sir. We're going straight to the jail." "Yes, sir. I'm taking him straight to his cell."
Wow.
He hangs up. Says, "You know who that was?" I said, "Yeah, that was the sheriff." He said, "Yeah, happy you're back." I said, "Yeah, he's been eating crow for 4 days on the TV. They beat him up bad. He lost his pre-election bid the next year."
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah.
Well,
Tommy Thomas. His son was a judge.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, part of the death penalty machinery, the Silver Needle Society. Whatever curse they had with killing people, it all stopped. Things started changing the next year. I'd like to think I broke that curse.
Wow.
That sheriff was part of the machinery of death, and the DA's office quit killing people left and right after that. I think it scared them. I really do.
If somebody could actually get back out and possibly do something. Yep. All right, so we don't have too long left, but let's finish this up. If you could do your escape over, where would you go? What would you do differently?
In this modern day and age, I wouldn't even attempt it because there's cameras everywhere now and smartphones and everybody. You can be ID'd in 30 seconds flat on the internet. You can't make it more than a mile without 5 or 6 cameras getting a picture of you in the direction you're going. It's impossible. This was before smartphones came out, 2005, and before they had cameras everywhere. Honestly, I mean that wholeheartedly. I wouldn't even attempt it in this modern day and age. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't make it 5-10 minutes. They'd be all over you.
Did you ever talk to the Australian girl again?
No, but she pops up online every now and then, and my friends always attack her if she's in some chat room.
Did she get
a liar?
Did she get $10,000?
Yes, yeah, she did.
Wow.
I heard through people that knew her that they had a wonderful Christmas and spent it all.
Wow. Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, my brother, I really, really, really appreciate your time on this and your candidacy on this and your ability to talk and your willingness to talk. And I would like to reach out to everybody that is out there real quick. I want to, Charles is a very, very nice guy, one of the nicer guys that I have met inside of my endeavors inside of writing, and he's definitely a person that is worthy of support. He has changed his ways. He has completely just gone from the world that he used to be, and from my conversation I've had with him, if you guys are looking for a great pen pal or for somebody that is worthy of the support, guys, please find him. Again, all of the Securus is down below in the description below. There's all the ways to contact him. If you're willing to contact him, if you're willing to support him, guys, please reach out. Please talk to him, and I'm sure he'd be happy to get back with you and probably answer any kind of questions you have. With that, Charles Victor Thompson, my brother, thank you very much for this presentation and for the more that we'll probably be having. I'm sure we'll have some good conversations in the future regarding all sorts of things, and thank you very much for your time.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
And thank you all for listening.
Absolutely. All right.